The following episode was brought to you by
viewers like you. Thank you.
the ability to create, to draw, to write, to cook, or whatever else. To be able to put your thoughts and feelings to your canvas and to share that art with the world. It's a beautiful thing, is it not? Creating and making things for yourself and others as a medium is, pretty freaking cool. And the best part is, anyone can do it. Ooh. Uh-huh. Tasteful. Wow. Okay. I feel like this one says a lot about our current political climate. Very brave. But art and services is a two-way street. When you do or make something and put it out there, the world can see it. And when the world can see it, it isn't always going to like it. Criticism. The critiquing of another's work. A practice that has been around since the dawn of civilization. The thinking man's pastime. Why create something of my own when I can just look at your thing and point out how bad and stupid it is, Yeah, not so big now, are you? As long as there has been the human condition, there has been the critique of it. And as long as there has been the critique of it, there has been the response. So what exactly would be the worst response to criticism? Well, let's take a look here at the first tier, and that would probably have to just be getting upset and being mean, which happens everywhere online, really, but a good place to find a nice concentration of these types of responses is actually from businesses.
Can't take criticism.
No, she can't. Nothing.
No criticism whatsoever.
Everything not good. Everything not good.
The art.
Answer question. Answer.
Or more specifically, their reviews. Ah, the humble proprietor and his wares. Ever the understanding of the plights of the criticisms of its customers. The place is dusty, outdated, and the food tastes awful. 100% nothing like a Roman Asteria experience. I think the only thing that's dusty is your brain. Dirty and disgusting place. Flies all around dinner table. Waiters talking to each other, complaining about how hard they're working. First and last time we came here. Sorry, guys. I think they were talking about how dirty and disgusting you were. Don't be sorry, it's not your fault. Not a customer-pleasing place. I sure found that out. Only ones who would okay this behavior is disgruntled workers. Oh, the days when the food served was good. Not okay. No excuses. Did you leave a tip? And proofread your review. It was like a special needs haiku. I saw a rat whilst eating here. That's called a mirror. Gave my mom food poisoning. She deserved it. Worst experience owner. Beard guy has some serious problem or mental issues. Extremely rude to the customers and he has no respect for his staff. Very much disappointed. Food is even not great. I wish there is a no-star option. You are an incompetent fool and a liar. Moreover, you are a coward. Sold over $500 worth of baby stuff and received store credit. Hey, welfare mama with absolutely no purpose other than to collect assistance from the government. One day, I hope you realize what hard work is actually about. Service was awful. Food was great. Many items were not available. The service was so bad, it was actually entertaining. Hey, Todd, go
Love.
yourself. Why don't you try opening your own place during COVID era? Why don't you come? Just an overall poor experience. Hopefully, you also gave your barber a 1-star review. Woof. And then from the same guy, barely a circus, a bar, or a pun. Fun fact, your last name rhymes with wiener. Completely and utterly destroyed. Food isn't very good, delivery times are atrocious, and the owner is very unprofessional and treats employees and customers poorly. Yes, Shannon, you will always fall into the loser category. We just came off a record-breaking day, week, and month. Ha ha ha. Thanks for the love, eat a fat
Fish.
dick. This one is a very long review, but it boils down to them criticizing the appointment scheduling being bad, and so this is the response from the owner. You are trash! All you do is write negative reviews about places all over the world! Your car was filthy as a septic tank with dog hair, dog urine, and dog poop in it. We cleaned up all your filth from inside your trashy car. You are a dirty and negative person. Ungrateful jerk. Rude, aggressive, and deeply unpleasant owner. Stale cakes and pastries. Shall I explain first you have been banned for being a ploinker, but we do forgive you for being a spiteful snitch. Must be dementia. Quality of food was poor, service poor, they added a service charge in addition to the food charge without notice. and the staff was rude. It's so hard supporting black people like you. One monkey don't stop, no show. There are plenty of black-owned restaurants in Chicagoland that are thriving and treat our own people with respect, and Love on the Blue isn't one of them. TJ, why is your profile non-existent? You then did several bad reviews on my Google, so go sit your monkey queen ass down. Shameful business etiquette from a black business owner? Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. And this is friendly fire? Oh my goodness gracious. There's so many of these that I can't even show. Who even is this? Well, apparently this woman was the owner of a restaurant called Love on the Blue, who became quite notorious for responding extremely angrily to any bad reviews that might find their way onto her Yelp page at the time. What didn't help this is that she got a small influx of attention from Reddit after she came to their attention, which led to several people posting 1-star reviews of their own to try and get a rise out of her. But how did she even get noticed in the first place? Well, she made it into the local news because she spent 100 grand to bail out little-known Grammy Award-winning singer R. Kelly out of jail after he was charged with assaulting women, sexually abusing them, peeing on one, sex trafficking, among other things.
R. Kelly is out of jail after posting $100,000 bond. The R&B star is facing aggravated sexual abuse charges and is accused of assaulting underage girls and women. Now,
it was a whole big thing back in the day, and she was the one who paid the bail to get him out. She described herself as a big fan and that she didn't believe that he was guilty, which was a sentiment that many women shared at the time. So, she paid his bail, got him out of the jail, and presumably later called him up to proclaim herself as his hero, but it seems from what I found, R. Kelly didn't even give her the time of day. And then on top of that, R. Kelly was shortly put back in jail anyway for more charges that came to light shortly after.
Today, the singer was taken into custody once again, less than an hour ago.
R. Kelly is back behind bars.
After this, she tried to request 100 grand back. But got denied by the judge completely. 100 grand gone like dust in the wind, all for nothing.
Page, I read about did you say want to?
So that's how Redditors found out about her restaurant, and her inability to take criticism. And once she found out where this influx was coming from, she went to respond, and you can imagine how well that went.
Is your back big? Wiping your own fat ass with shit on it is pretty nasty. I can bet you fat bitch sitting in front of your computer eating and wasting your life away sad AF. Foo Barney, you fat back bitch, your days are numbered. You have nothing better to do with your life. Who are you that she needs to acknowledge anything to you? YT, stay on the subject fat. Anybody with a hamster picture is definitely an ugly fat bitch. So you a big back wet back mixed mutt. You dummy little bitch, keep talking. You can be located. Didn't you say you live up the street? You get the fuck out here. Who the fuck cares about you and what the fuck you think? Take stance and lose that big back. I know for sure you mad at your parents for birthing you. Look at you, mess. No life, just a computer and a keyboard.
Well, I'd have to say that's about as upset as one can get when responding to criticism. But at least it only went as far as insults, unlike our next examples, which get so much worse. Yo, there he is.
Yep, just got back from the store. How's cleaning the house going? Oh, it's coming along pretty good, actually. I see it's looking a lot better in here. I see the camera's on. Are you doing the video now? I didn't think you were doing it until later, sorry.
Nope, doing it now because I got done cleaning early. I know the landlord specified that we're not allowed to throw any of this old junk that came with the house away, so I did my best to just get what I could off of them. You see that bag right there? It's just completely full to the brim with rat droppings that I found underneath the couch cushions.
Oh, how lovely. And what do you think about the kitchen? How bad does it look? Am I gonna have a hard time scrubbing it down?
Probably. I think the rats must be congregated in there because it smells bad. Like some sickly sweet kind of smell.
Well, you did a good job. And hey, you even swept the floor like I wanted.
But of course, I had to make room for your charger port.
How thoughtful.
And also for all of this street garbage that I found that I want to use for my next art project.
Well, that's, what?
Yeah!
What Why? You had it looking so nice in here. I thought you said you wanted to get rid of all the garbage.
Yeah, as in garbage. This is tasteful garbage, cultured garbage. Garbage that I specifically went and picked out and curated for my sculpture making. This is cream of the crop, high quality, class garbage.
Garbage is garbage.
Channel, one of the big things about being a big-time influencer is influencing and making people think. And what better way to do that than to speak to the soul and mind through the beauty of art?
Okay, but does that art have to include 3XL granny panties and a half-eaten sandwich?
Shh. Channel, look at what I've made. Now, per today's episode theme, before the next tier, I want you to quickly give me some criticism on my art so that I can give an example on how to properly respond to criticism and critique before we continue looking at how not to.
Okay, well, it's colorful, but the sky is kind of empty. That could have used some color.
Yeah, I agree, it could have been blue.
And the green pops well with the brown, but the grass could have been more even.
I was trying for more like a perspective kind of thing, but no, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, overall, it could have been better, but I'd say that's a fine painting of an anteater you have there.
Well, thank you, but what was that?
That it's a nice anteater painting?
It's not. It's not an anteater.
Oh, it's not?
How does that look like an anteater?
I mean, it's got the long tongue sticking out there.
It's just a normal tongue, okay? It's extremely obvious what I painted.
Oh, yes. Sorry, of course. It's a nice baby bear? Meerkat? It's a nice monkey?
It's a dog! It's clearly a dog! Where are you getting these other animals from?
Well, it's got like a curly monkey tail right there.
It's a dog's tail! Dogs have curly tails!
Not to where it's like that, no. I've never seen one with a tail like that, no.
Look, just whatever, okay? Next segment, this was a stupid idea you can't critique properly because you don't know what it is.
How are we gonna do a compare and contrast then with you showing how to respond in a healthy manner to criticism then?
We'll just look and respond to comments with criticism on our last video and go from there, okay?
Okay.
Alright, now, the tier above getting upset. The escalation into threats. Why just get upset at someone for criticism when you could instead just outright threaten them instead? Threatening people over criticism. That's pretty far over the line. How would one even get to that point? How insane would a person have to be to even think of going that far over someone just voicing their opinion? Well, how about the President of the United States of America? In 1950. Current President Harry Truman was attending his beloved daughter's singing performance at the Constitution Hall, where she was singing before an audience of over 3,000, many of which were top administration and diplomat members. And, well, he loved it. I mean, really, he thought it was beautiful. His pride and joy up there for all to see. It was truly a sight, or rather sound, to behold. And the general opinion was, yeah, her singing was pretty good. But one in attendance, a Washington Post critic, Paul Hume, did not share the same sentiments. After the show was over, Paul proceeded to write a column criticizing her performance in the paper the following week. Miss Truman is a unique American phenomenon with a pleasant voice of little size and fair quality, but cannot sing very well. She is flat a good deal of the time, more last night than any time we have heard her in past years. She has not improved in the years we have heard her, and still cannot sing with anything approaching professional finish. Mr. Truman, who was not in the White House at the time as it was being renovated, discovered Paul's writings while reading the newspaper one morning after picking it up outside. Truman read Paul's criticism, and well, he didn't too much care for it, and he himself personally wrote Paul a letter telling him that his criticism was poppycock, and that if he ever saw his ass in the streets, he would give him 2 black eyes and a broken nose. The White House, Washington. Dear Mr. Hume, I've just read your lousy review of Margaret's concert. I've come to the conclusion that you are an 8 ulcer man on 4 ulcer pay. It seems to me that you are a frustrated old man who wishes he could have been successful. When you write such poppycock as it was in the back of the section of the paper you work for, it shows conclusively that you're off the beam. Someday, I hope to meet you. When that happens, you'll need a new nose, a lot of beefsteak for black eyes, and perhaps a supporter below. Could you imagine criticizing something about Trump or Biden and them writing to you personally that they're going to come and beat your fucking ass?
I think the scariest part of that would just be opening a letter and seeing "from the White House" on it.
Yeah, like for sure. What are you even gonna do in that situation? It's the President of the United States. What are you gonna do? Go to the police?
Hello, officer. Yes, hi. The president personally wrote me today that he's going to come to my house and beat me to death with a hammer when I least suspect it because I criticized his new Hugs and Kisses Act bill, which mandates that we euthanize the mentally disabled.
And you're saying he contacted you and told you this?
Yeah, through the letter I got from him. Addressed to me specifically, in my mail, from the White House.
Very funny. You call this line again and you'll be fine.
Damn it, that wasn't a prank. I was telling the truth. Channel?
Joe grabbed his legs.
Like, no one would even believe that happened.
Yeah. Oh, man.
Well, I mean, at least he only threatened a beating for that criticism. He had the full power of the state being the president, and he could have threatened a lot worse.
Yeah, instead of just his eyes and nose, he could have threatened every single cell in his body like this next guy.
Every single cell in his body?
Every single one. Back in 2003, writer and film director Vincent Gallows premiered The Brown Bunny, in which he stars as the main character, along with also having written and directed it at the Cannes Film Festival. It was about a man traveling cross-country to get to and participate in a race while meeting various women along the way who he tries to use to fill the void left by his lost love. It was met with almost universal panning and bad reviews across the board, with film critic Roger Ebert criticizing its lack of direction, aimlessness, and its multiple-minute, fully on-screen blowjob that Gallows' character gets from co-star Chloe, with Ebert calling it the worst film to ever play at the festival. Yeah, sorry, but this scene is essential to the story. It's a part of my process, you know? It's my artistic vision. And my vision for this film depends on this extremely pivotal scene where you go down on me with your mouth for several minutes at a time. Possibly for several takes until we get it right. Ebert went as far as saying that watching his own colonoscopy was a better experience, and that he'd prefer it over watching this, and even proceeded to walk out before the film had finished. Gallo, not about to take this line down, at least not without a woman going down on him, called Ebert a fat pig with the physique of a slave owner, and threatened to put a hex on him to give him cancer, saying that he already did put such a hex on Ebert's partner, Gene Siskel, who died in 1999 following a brain tumor, and that it was him. Ebert responded by telling him that although he was fat, that someday he'll be thin, but Gallo would always have to live with the fact that he is the director of The Brown Bunny, and left it at that.
Threatening to give someone cancer over criticism. How would that work exactly? I'm not really familiar with human hexes.
I think it works like casting a spell, like Harry Potter rules. I'm not entirely sure of it either. Expecto cancerosis. But you know, this story actually takes a bizarre and unexpected turn from here, because Gallo actually listened to the criticism he'd received and went to recut and re-edit the film in its entirety, taking the criticisms he received into account, and it ended up being an improvement and even got a re-review from Ebert, who changed his 0 star to a 3 out of 4 star. Look at that, they worked it out in the end in a nice little theming tie-in to our handling criticism theme. All's well that ends well.
Will? Ebert actually did end up dying from cancer and underwent treatment for it shortly after the film festival.
What?
Yeah, it says right here.
Are you serious? Are you joking, or is this some kind of bit to mess with me?
I'm completely 100% serious. Look, I'll send it to your laptop.
I mean, there's no way those events are actually connected. I mean, this must be some kind of mix-up. No, it was almost immediately after he did it. Oh my. He did it. He actually hexed him with cancer for giving him criticism on his movie, and that means he possibly even has the ability to go back in time, reverse Flash style, and plant cancer cells in people even earlier whenever he wants. It's all true. Hey, listen, you know, me and Channel, We love the movie Brown Bunny, don't we, channel?
Yeah, we were talking about how much we liked it earlier before I went to the store.
Huge fans of the movie, and of Gallo himself. Dude's a visionary.
Top tier director for me, yeah.
The BJ scene, it was great. I mean, it was just a great scene. The best I've ever seen.
Yeah, for sure. I imagine that it really speaks to the human condition.
Yeah, it does. It really does. Just a great, biting commentary on the world we live in today and society, and also very brave. I give it 5 out of 5 stars.
I give it 7 out of 5 stars. It's just that good.
Yeah. It's just that good. I don't think threats over criticism can really reach a higher level than a threat to hex someone with cancer or a presidential threat from the White House. I think we've reached the limit on this section.
Yeah, those were pretty insane.
Okay, let's really quick, before the next section, show everyone how to respond in a proper manner to criticism, but this time with comments we ourselves have received. We just need to scroll down until we find a comment criticizing us. There's so many nice comments. Okay, looking for one with criticism. This was funny. Thank you. I'm glad you thought so.
Good job for being the first thing you ever made. Keep it up.
Yeah, well, you know, it was a process. Thank you. This is okay, but it could have been shot a lot better with better equipment. Skip. I'm gonna go ahead and skip that one.
Well...
Whoops, already scrolled too far past that one. Ooh, here's another nice one while we look for another critical one. This is a good video if you consider mediocrity to be endearing. Who the fuck? Who does this guy think he is? You can't say that about us, about our show. You can't do that.
It's just a negative comment from some random person we don't know voicing criticism that they don't like our content. It comes with being an influencer/YouTuber. I thought you'd come to expect this.
I'm gonna respond to this guy.
Okay, just remember to keep it positive. Being a good influencer means maintaining a good central image with positive interaction with viewers, which is a must for doing it. No.
Wait, no, just let me finish typing. Don't page refresh me. Channel, drop it. Channel, let go. No, channel, stop it. Let go. No. Great, I lost him.
Do you have any idea how bad you're going to look if you're going to get upset at every little mean comment that's flung your way?
I was just goofing, okay? It was a bit. I wasn't serious at all, okay? I was, honestly. Look, I'll respond properly to the next one here. This is one of the worst things I've ever watched. Okay, there's no way you think that's actually true. You're just rage baiting me.
You're towing dangerously close to the line of actually being like the people you're covering in this video.
Oh, come on. That isn't even remotely true. These people are nuts.
Yes, but you're showing some concerningly striking similarities.
Poppycock. You won't be saying that with this next tier, the one above threats.
What could be higher than receiving threats?
Taking action, or more precisely, doing something physical to a person or their property in response to criticism. Getting angry and threatening is one thing, but to actually act and do something physically in response? Could such an event exist? Could it have actually happened before?
I mean, yeah, I imagine it has. I don't think you'd make a section that was just empty here.
No, it was more like a segue into the next topic. Like, could the viewer conceive of such a thing? You know, kind of make them think about it and wonder.
Oh, I thought that was directed at me, like you were asking me. Sorry.
I should have conveyed what I was doing and filled you in on the script earlier. It's not your fault. I've got to stop doing that. I'm sorry, too. Circling back to food review criticisms.
Fucking hell. Are you crazy? Have you tasted that?
How about this woman who gave a 1-star review while still in the restaurant in an attempt to get them to correct her food, but ended up getting boiling soup poured on her instead, giving her 3rd-degree permanent burns? Or how about this guy who, after leaving criticism in a negative review for a restaurant, had the restaurant's hired goons come and beat him and his wife, landing him in a coma? How about a response to criticism to a movie so insane, so obscure, that looking up its name on YouTube produces 0 results in the first page? The year? 1970, and a movie is being filmed, one of the worst in human history. And all throughout the entire production, the main character / producer / writer, hey, that sounds familiar, had been giving extremely harsh criticism to his actors and crew. And in return, they had been criticizing him back on how he was handling the film himself, back and forth, throughout the entire making of the whole film, resulting in an enormous explosion of emotions at its conclusion. Norman Mailer, an infamous director and actor at the time, known for making some absolute drivel and also stabbing... Oh, can we say that? Or is that under the YouTube censor list?
I mean, stabbed doesn't have to mean in a violent way. It could refer to someone stabbing a stack of pancakes with a fork.
Alright, just to be safe, he was known for making some absolute drivel and also poking his wife with something sharp at a party several times in the chest and back, and then telling onlookers to not help and to just let the guy. And he stars as the main lead in his very own film about a director running for presidency while plans to assassinate him are happening elsewhere, which, okay, might actually sound a tiny bit interesting as a concept, until you realize Norman dictated that all the actors would work without any dialogue or any script or even any direction, and told them to just go with whatever he was doing and react to the scenes and situations at hand. But some of the cast actually wanted to, do stuff maybe, act perhaps. They tried giving some criticism, hey, maybe we actually have a script, maybe the scene could go like this, or we could say this,
Well, that's because I know more about cutting than you do.
Right, and I'm hopeful. I trusted you terribly up to that point. This terrible conflict set up because we were afraid of imposing on what you had in mind, what we surmised you might have had in mind, and we were afraid of acting against you and getting squashed.
I knew that a great many delicate and not so delicate plots had been prepared by the other side. But what I also knew was that the situation I'd started was a sufficiently explosive one.
He was just not having it. This was his vision. Who are they to give him criticism on his film? And so they just ended up with a bunch of schizo-tier footage where an incredible amount of nothing happens, with the final runtime of the footage being 45 hours long. And that 45-hour-long cut took 6 months to get edited into a 7.5-hour cut, and then took several weeks on top of that again to be cut down into its final hour and 50-minute runtime. But before that, during its last days of filming, everyone was just like, okay, this was a bunch of dog shit. How is this gonna turn out in any way cohesive and have any kind of an ending? And Norman's like, guys, don't worry. In the end, my character will get assassinated, so we can at least tie up the little story that has been set up throughout, so it has something of an ending. Or at least that's what he said was going to happen, because at the last minute he was like, psych, and said, I don't actually want my character to die at the end, lol, and made it so that without informing anyone that was the conclusion to the movie. And then it just ends with him going around asking everyone what their thoughts were on the project. Understandably, at this point, the actors are pissed, none more so than actor Rip Torn, who was one of the people who had been trying to give him criticism throughout filming to help him, actually maybe make something resembling anything good. But no, all of this was ignored. In fact, when faced with criticism towards his film from Torn that it desperately needed that conclusion where his character gets assassinated, he actually turned around and criticized Rip Torn on his performance as an actor. So Torn, possibly under the influence as there were drugs on set, picks up a hammer and cracks Mailer on the head with it before a struggle ensues, with Rip beginning to then also strangle Norman while Norman bit into his ear. If Norman's character wasn't going to die, then Rip would kill Norman's character himself and give this movie a proper ending.
You're supposed to die. Norman Kingsley, you must die, not Mailer. Not Mailer. I don't want to kill Mailer, but I must kill Kingsley in this picture.
No, baby. No, baby.
All the meanwhile, the cameraman continues to film because, who wouldn't? And then they decided to actually keep it and put it at the very end of the film, which inadvertently saved the film. Not in any meaningful way, as it barely made any money, but because if Torn hadn't have done that, then it's highly likely that this mediocre slog wouldn't be noteworthy or remembered at all. So remember, everyone, if it's between something being extremely terrible or just being painfully average and mediocre, the first way is usually always the better route.
Or, you maybe could just try and make something good.
Well, I meant that more in relation to movies than anything an individual can make.
Well, that was indeed pretty brutal. Makes me wonder what might have happened if he opened up his mind to criticism instead of shutting it all out.
Yeah, but the pride and ego of a psychopath is not a trait that is easily squashed. But if you can believe it, it's actually tame in comparison to the final event in this tier and our last big one of the episode.
I got that you said that to the audience this time.
Yep, nicely done.
Yes!
When territories were beginning to form into states, tensions stemming from which ones would be pro-slavery or not began to arise. Kansas and Nebraska territory was one caught right in the middle as it was filled with pro- and anti-slavery advocates alike. So Stephen Douglas and Andrew Butler, U.S. senators, wrote and drafted up a bill called the Kansas-Nebraska Act, and it got passed and signed in repealing the previously made anti-slavery Missouri Compromise. This new Kansas-Nebraska Act made it so that instead of the Senate deciding whether certain territories in the Kansas region would be pro or anti-slavery, that it would be the people themselves who could vote and decide it themselves. This in turn caused a flood of people to go there so that they could help their side win the vote, which also came with attacks on each other in the commotion. So Senator Charles Sumner, seeing this transpire, hated what had become of things, and decided to give a speech at the U.S. Senate criticizing the law and those in favor of pro-slavery, while then also criticizing the slave owners who were in political power at the time. And this thing was extremely long and extensive, and gave criticism of pretty much every aspect of the bill in his over 90-page long speech, believing that if they heard him out on his critiques of the bill, that it could lead to a true remedy for the state of Kansas that it desperately needed. He was fierce, passionate, standing for what he believed in, and that's all anyone can hope to do. To show others that you can respond and criticize in a civil and polite manner, it was really the type of speech we should all strive for.
I feel like there's some sort of catch here.
Or at least it would have been, had he not proceeded to insult the authors of the new bill in it directly.
Saw that one coming.
Thou art a bitch, thou art a bitch, youth striketh my fancy. Andrew Butler has chosen a mistress to whom he has made his vows, and who, though ugly to others, is always lovely to him. The frenzy of Don Quixote in behalf of his wench, Delucina del Toboso, is all surpassed.
What does that mean?
I think that's him calling his wife a dog-ugly whore. And then he also went on to accuse him of being a drunk, while also mocking Andrew's speaking ability, which was impaired as he had just suffered a stroke. He also went on to call Stephen Douglas a noisome, squat, and nameless animal, not a proper model for an American senator. That and some other extremely insultive things about them both. All of this heard not by Andrew, as he wasn't even there that day to catch the smoke, but by his cousin, Preston Brooks, a member of the House of Representatives who was one of the strongest supporters of the bill, and he didn't appreciate Mr. Charles' criticism, or choice words, to put it lightly. Well, now he'd certainly done it. Charles had given the opposition an opening here. If they could respond denouncing his attacks of their character, which were seen as immature by many at the time, then this could be their slam dunk response against him and anyone else who was against the bill. And so a plan for a response was indeed made by Preston and his friend Lawrence Kit. They knew exactly how they wanted to respond, and a couple days later, they returned to the Senate and sought out Charles to speak to him directly. The room was mostly cleared out, with Charles at his desk. Preston came up to him, got his attention, and then he calmly said something along the lines of, "Mr. Sumner, I have read your speech twice over carefully. It is libel against my state and Mr. Butler, who is a relative of mine. You have offended me." Charles, maybe perhaps feeling like he went a bit too far, who's to say, we don't have any way of knowing what he was thinking, began to stand up to respond to Preston, and just as he did, Preston took out his walking cane and belted Charles with it square in the face, and then as Charles was stunned from what just happened, he did it again and again and again, and began viciously beating Charles with it over and over on his head and upper body, which caused Charles to lose balance and fall down halfway, stuck between the desk and his chair. Seeing that Charles was now defenseless, unable to move, and defeated, Preston took this opportunity to land even more blows on him, so much that Charles began to bleed, which then began to get in his eyes. Eventually, Charles shoves the desk away and stumbles to the aisle and puts his dukes up to defend himself. But it was of no use, as Preston was out here swinging that shit like a Shaolin monk. Left, right, left, right, up, down, all around, somebody somewhere do something! But no one could, because his friend Lawrence had his pistol out and pointed it at anyone who got too close, waving them away. Go on now. All the meanwhile, Preston was still hitting Charles with the wombo combo. He just would not relent. He hit Charles with such ferocity and strength that he eventually broke his cane over Charles' head, splintering it in two, leading to Charles collapsing and passing out. With Charles now lying on the floor, covered in blood and not breathing, Preston saw this as an opportunity to land just a couple more strikes with the broken half of the cane for good measure. This is also when others were finally able to get him to relent his attack. Preston was then tried in court and given a $300 fine and no jail time, and was quickly returned to office. Charles, while having survived, on the other hand, was not so lucky, as the brutal assault left him with minor brain damage, chronic debilitating pain, PTSD, and severe neurological damage to his body that he would have to live with for the rest of his life.
I have no words. I don't really have any joke or wacky commentary to add there. That's terrible. The depths of human violence and depravity scare me sometimes. I don't know. Do you have anything, Will?
Yeah. Why can't modern politics be like that?
Huh?
I think we should go back to pistol duels and stuff like that. I think that'd be pretty funny.
A man was beaten within an inch of his life, and that's your input?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, well, would it be like WWE-style cage matches on the floor, or...
No. Like, if someone is criticizing you or the policies you support, then you should just be allowed to get up and start beating the shit out of them. And then whoever wins is, like, allowed to take that person's seat in the House. I feel like that would make all political matters in the world just resolve, like, so much quicker. And that, that way no old geezers overstaying their time, And no weapons either. You'd have to be buff to be able to keep up in there all the time.
Hurts on the top rope, barely. Superman punch to the back of the head.
Man, I am so good at thinking of solutions for political strife.
Yeah, it'd be a political utopia, I'm sure. You're a visionary.
That's right, baby. Absolutely. Paper Scraps 2076. Mark your calendars. I will be running, and I will be winning. So the most important thing to remember in all of this is that if you want your work or your art or legacy to be remembered, it can either be by it being good or by doing something completely insane.
Does that really guarantee absolutely that you'll be remembered throughout history, though?
Well, I guess it doesn't guarantee it, but it guarantees you'll be talked about in some capacity rather than if your stuff is just bland and forgettable.
Well, I guess it's time for us to try reading comments showing the right way to respond again.
Speaking of forgettable, did you know there was a street performer recently who got into the news in France because people kept giving him criticism on his juggling routine, saying that it was forgettable and bland? Yeah, he just went nuts. I mean, this guy was crazy. Like, you could see it in his eyes. He was insane. Just a truly deranged individual. Probably the type of guy to put his toilet paper plied down instead of up like a psychopath. Anyway, he actually got so fed up with people criticizing his bottle juggling routine being boring that he actually got on a live stream and began eating his juggling bottles live for everyone to see. He ingested 8 glass bottles in 5 hours, and he ended up needing 347 internal stitches, and now every time he farts, a little bit of glass dust comes out. A reminder of his act of defiance against the ever-changing politics of the bottle juggling landscape.
What? Why are you making that face? You're just making all this up and lying.
No.
You totally are.
No, that was a test. A test to gauge the audience on how well they can see through misinformation. And you, viewer, have passed because you did not click off the video.
Are you just stalling with lies so you don't have to read mean comments again?
And misinformation in today's world is rampant, with so many people and bots who use lies and fake links to steal your information, which is where today's sponsor comes in. Yet another test. Congratulations, you knew that no one would want to sponsor a channel so small and thus did not click off in disgust at the thought of an ad.
You are stalling so that you don't have to look at more comments giving you criticism. Stop it.
You think I, Wilbur Paperscrap, Mr. YouTube guy, would try and stall and do something like that? Those are some serious false allegations, channel, and I hope you have a twit longer prepared with evidence to back it up.
You know, we could always just skip the whole showing how to properly respond to criticism thing and just move on to the final tier if you don't want to.
Channel. I am perfectly capable of responding to these comments, alright? Someone has to show the appropriate way to respond to criticism and be the bigger person. I'm gonna remain calm, alright?
Okay.
Okay, let's see here. Good, but you need to work on your pacing. Okay, I'm not sure why you think pacing my walking speed would be important to the video, but okay, I hear you, and I will work on that.
Yeah, okay, that works. Calm and responsive demeanor, good.
I liked the video, but I thought that the voice was annoying sometimes. I respect your opinion to be wrong and ugly.
What?
Nothing. I rate this video a 4 out of 10. Okay, well, I rate what looks like your girlfriend in your picture here a C because she looks like a...
Will...
Calm? I am remaining calm in demeanor. The filming of this is all over the place with its lighting. The shoddy camera work is overall extremely amateurish. I respect your input on the camera and lighting situation. It's like that because I don't have any actual equipment and only have a phone. But your comment is still heard and noted that it needs work. Why is this so stupid? But what an interesting question you have, glow stick doodle. Before I answer that though, I'd like to ask you a question. I'm looking at your page here, and I'm noticing that it's just you and what appears to be your mom in your videos here. And so my question for you is, where's your dad? Where's your dad, glow stick doodle? Because I don't see him.
Will, no.
Daddy leave to the store to get milk and never come back? Or was it more along the lines of mommy and daddy having to sit down with you and talking about how they don't love each other, but they still love you?
Will, this is not...
Because I've got news for you. And 100% of divorces where there's an ugly kid, it's the kid's fault. So I hope you sleep well knowing you destroyed your family with your disgusting, elongated rodent teeth. You stupid...
Alright, no, that's literally just you insulting this kid for speaking his mind. How is that in any way showing a good example of positively asserting responses to criticism?
It's a good example because he responded to my video and I positively asserted to him why his dad doesn't love him.
No, if you're going to do this and be an influencer, you need to take your own advice and not let criticism and people get under your skin.
Well, why not? All the other big, mega trendy influencers get to do it when their feelings get hurt, when their stuff is criticized.
And what is always a response from the public when they do so?
It's always people making fun of them and mocking them because it's really embarrassing.
Exactly, and what are you showing with your reactions and behavior towards these comments?
I guess I'm showing that I'm no better than the people we're covering in the video. Maybe I have been being a bit silly by getting so upset here at these comments. They're all individuals with their own thoughts and processes for why they think what they do, and I got so upset because I don't actually disagree with a lot of them. Like with my lighting, or them thinking my voice is annoying. I don't like listening to my voice either.
But you also gotta remember that those critical comments are like less than 1% of the comments on your video. The rest of them that you got were giving you great marks. Like 99% of what I see is positive.
Yeah, there are really a lot of nice ones, aren't there? Man, what am I even doing getting so upset over words on a screen? You were right earlier, channel. I really am like the people in this video. I'm sorry.
Well, not entirely. You didn't let your emotions drive you to doing something beyond just getting upset, and you realized your faults and even apologized, so I'm sorry too for what I said to you earlier.
No, it's okay. It needed to be said. You said the right thing. I was being a real goober. There's no reason to get so upset over others giving you criticism. Good video, but there was inconsistent lighting throughout. Yes, but I can and will improve to do better.
Well, I guess all that's left to do is close out the video with the final tier then, right?
Yep, let's close it out with the tier above taking action and hurting others. The final frontier of violence. Which is why I said earlier that the caning one was the last big one, because this is less a big bang conclusion and more a somber reflection on everything we've seen. There's not really any fun to be had with these ones, as they're just tragic. Have the ones we've seen so far all just been fringe outlier cases and the work of those who are bad or evil? Or does the ability to attack others so ruthlessly for criticizing our work and character lie within us all as part of human nature? If you made and believed in something with all your heart and presented it to the world, and someone criticized it, and I mean really laid into it with some deep-cutting words, what would you do? You know you wouldn't go as far as these people you've seen, but can you really truly honestly say you wouldn't feel anything hearing it? In my opinion, I think the answer lies somewhere in between these two extremes. It's natural to feel and to give a response to criticism directed at work we're passionate about. We're human. But being human also means that we can choose to understand it for what it is, and recognize its place in things we make.
Wow, Will, I wasn't expecting something like that from you to end the video on. That was such a sensible thought piece on everything we've seen. I think you've really made something insightful and mature here.
Wait, did you see that? Go back. Did I read that right? Did you see that guy's name? Weenus Chumka Nerd? He repeatedly complained and gave criticism to his neighbors on their loud karaoke singing and song choices. He had asked them to sing quieter, or to at least pick something other than Country Roads, as they've been singing it over and over again.
Wait, no, you had a great ending and stopping point there.
Mr. Weenus eventually told them he'd shoot them if he had to hear them sing the Country Road song even one more time.
You had a beautiful retrospective to tie everything together in a narrative bow and a great place to end the video.
Weenus said they were so drunk that they didn't even care that he was shooting them.
Whoa, yeah! You can't joke about that kind of stuff, Will. The moment from earlier, it's gone now. You've ruined it. The ending's over.
Channel, wait. Weenus Chungus Nerd.
That's not funny, damn it. Okay, it's a little funny. Why would someone name their kid that?
I don't know. Maybe he has like a dad named Senior Weenus or something.
They've all got their specific Weenus titles, like Junior, or Senior, or the Third, in the Weenus family tree, huh?
Yep, leading all the way to the top of the Weenus family tree. Weenus Senior the Third, the oldest and most wrinkly Weenus. Oh man. Weenus. Another day, another video, which, didn't take too long.
Yeah, it was only a couple days.
Yeah, only a tiny bit of time. But we didn't actually start on the second episode until the Zane Little shout out, because when I first posted the first video, it got like literally 0 views and it sat like that for a while. And I was like, okay, I'll start on episode 2 whenever the first couple hundred or so views start coming in. When we get to like 200 views, I'll start on it. But hopefully it gets shown around in the algorithm, and it just never did. Until the Zane Little shout out, when he found us and gave an unprompted full name shout out in his YouTube posts. How freaking cool is that? I say found us, but really technically we found him per se, because as the video sat there untouched by the algorithm being shown to no one, I thought, I guess it wouldn't hurt to ask other different creators if they wanted to watch the video, and that if they liked it, if they could consider giving it a share or a retweet or whatever. A little embarrassing asking people, but hey, he was literally sitting at rock bottom. There's nowhere to go but up. I think I messaged and emailed like about 70 or so creators, and Zane Little is the only one that responded, and he watched it, and he said he loved it, and that it was really good, and he even subscribed to the Patreon. So again, big shout out to the big, or I guess Little Zane the Stuart Little, because without him, I wouldn't have gotten that handful of views on the first video, and though it's still a very small amount of views, I am very grateful, and as such, wanted to immortalize all of you who left a comment on the video in this video, as I did with that little scroll shot earlier. And also another thank you to Zane, because he also brought in 2 Patreons with that shout out as well. That's so cool. My $1 Zachman Zachary, which I was able to use towards tape when I ran out during pre-production, so thank you for that. And we also got Dreaded Diff for $10. That's insane. My first super fan. That's so freaking cool. It's because of him that I was actually able to get a phone holder stabilization thing to hold my dinky little shit phone steady instead of just filming by hand. That's how I filmed the whole first episode, just by hand. And because of that, this episode's a lot better in the steady camera department, all thanks to him. But also, I guess it kind of impaired me to an extent because I didn't realize it, but it was like a cheaply made one that didn't hold the phone completely still, and it would wobble like every time I pressed record, and I had to either wait until it stopped wobbling to start actually moving, or edit it out later, and that sucked. So I got that refunded after filming so that I could put that money towards a better one down the line. So I guess actually instead of thanking him, we should be reprimanding him. How dare you only give $10? You should have given more towards the Paper Scrap brand.
$10 is the highest tier, though.
Well, he should have made multiple accounts and pledged to it multiple times. Fake superfan, fake Paper Scrap's brand loyalist, and you know what? He sent me his address for a spontaneous package of stickers I wanted to send to my Patreons, so mods, put his address up on the screen, his full name, and his phone number, and also twist his limbs, crush him, and scatter his dust to the four winds.
You are going to drive that man away.
No, but he's cool. He's very cool. He actually had a question/statement for us to read in the afterword, one of his perks with his $10 tier, and that is, channel was wrong.
What? Wrong? About what? What would I do? Why are you targeting me?
Well, you said in the last video that no one would subscribe to the Patreon, and then lo and behold, we got 3 whole Patreon subscribers, proving you wrong.
I was just saying that so that you wouldn't get your hopes up and to keep your expectations low. I didn't want you to get sad if no one did.
Well, you were wrong, you were double wrong, and you were triple with cheese wrong, because we got 3 whole Patreons who I love with all my heart.
Yeah, well, Mr. Dree, I'm glad that I was wrong, so there. I don't mind the call-out.
Called out, blown out, and shown out by Mr. Dree, $10 guy. And we're going to put a big caption above you, like in political cartoon strips, that hang above your head at all times, everywhere, forever, to show how wrong you were because of Mr. Dree. Well, I guess that's it. Thank you, everyone, especially who watched all the way through, and now we're just going to talk a little bit more until the video hits 1 hour.
Why is that?
I heard that the algorithm favors 1 hour long videos a lot more than close to but under 1 hour long videos.
Ah. Well, isn't that inflating the video?
I know, I'm so evil. The slippery slope of being an influencer begins now. First is this, and then I'm making crypto coin to scam my audience.
Your descent into madness begins.
Yeah. Channel, did I ever hum to you my conveniently long humming song?
No, I don't believe so.
Oh, well, it goes like this.